East Coast prepares for what could be a historic winter storm. This is SkyWatch TV for Thursday, January 21st, 2016. I'm Derek Gilbert. As you can tell, working from our temporary home studio today. We had some ice here in the Ozarks overnight last night. But as many as 50 million Americans on the East Coast getting ready for Winter Storm Jonas, which promises to drop at least a foot of snow across the East Coast megalopolis. Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Baltimore, New York City, Boston. First time that's happened in 13 years. A blizzard watch was issued Wednesday for Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, and at least a foot of snow is expected in the Appalachians from eastern Kentucky into most of Virginia and West Virginia, Maryland, D.C., northern Delaware, and the extreme northwest corner of North Carolina. Some of those areas may get as much as 20 inches of snow or more, at least 6 inches likely along the I-95 corridor up to New York City, including Long Island. There will also be ice, slick roads, downed trees, and power outages from southeastern Missouri through Kentucky, southern West Virginia, southern Virginia, and western North Carolina. So pray for those in the path of the storm. Meanwhile, geologists are saying that people on the west coast of the United States could be facing a killer tsunami at some point in the near future. They've been studying the intersection of tectonic plates off the Aleutian Islands, just off the coast of Alaska, and say that a tsunami like the one that hit Japan in 2011 could be a reality. The Yosemite Trench ruptures every 180 to 270 years, but it hasn't moved for 227 years. Geologists say it could happen any day. Meanwhile, a pair of volcanoes erupting in the western Pacific blew up at the same time Tuesday, even though they're 3,000 miles apart. Mount Egan in Indonesia and the Jupanovsky volcano both sent plumes of ash and smoke into the atmosphere. In the case of the Jupanovsky volcano, up to 5 miles high. People living near Mount Egan have been evacuated. And there are 25 other volcanoes within 400-mile radius of Mount Egan. 5 of those are erupting now, and there are warnings out for 10 others. And even though these volcanoes are on opposite ends of the Pacific Ocean, they both sit on the edge of the same tectonic plate, the Philippine plate, leading to some concern that something big may be happening under the western Pacific Ocean. In central Mexico, people near the Popocatépetl volcano were under a yellow alert Tuesday. The volcano was spewing ash 1.25 miles into the atmosphere. Coincidentally, this volcano known as a UFO hotspot. You see these pictures from a couple of weeks ago. The guy who took the pictures claimed they were of an unidentified craft. Skeptics say just fireworks. Last year, I reported on strange sounds in the sky, sounds that sounded like screeching metal or sky trumpets. Well, they're back. Observers hearing them in northern Africa, in the Netherlands, and on the southwest coast of England, the town of Bristol, where coincidentally another strange noise, the so-called Bristol hum, has been keeping residents awake for nearly 40 years. Now, it's not a new phenomenon. We've got it here in the United States as well. The Kokomo, Indiana hum and the Taos, New Mexico hum. All those sounds described as something like a diesel engine idling way off in the distance. Nobody knows what caused it. Could be man-made, could be a natural phenomenon we don't yet understand. But it does, if nothing else, make good kicker material for the major media. The media loves to post headlines like this one. Could this be a sign of Armageddon? Based on a Facebook photo posted by a woman in Michigan, described as a sign from God that Judgment Day could be upon us. Well, that just proves that the person who wrote the headline doesn't know Bible prophecy. Look, Armageddon is the final battle between the forces of God and the forces of the fallen angels who rebelled against God, the armies of the world. And it will take place at Jerusalem, specifically for Mount Zion, the traditional Mount Zion, the Temple Mount. Now, since we don't see the armies of the world lining up outside Jerusalem, we can rule out Armageddon. The other question the headline asks is whether this could be a sign of Judgment Day. Well, the day of the Lord is the day when Yahweh, the God of the Bible, pours out his wrath on an unbelieving world, meaning that those who have accepted Jesus Christ and Lord and Savior won't be here for it. I don't plan to be here. I certainly hope you won't either. You can guarantee that you won't be here, by the way, by accepting Jesus Christ as your Lord if you have not already done so. The bottom line is when you see headlines like this in the media, don't freak out. It's clickbait. It should only scare those who don't know their Bible. In Pakistan, more than 30 people are dead. 4 gunmen slipped onto a university campus in the town of Charsada using fog as a cover Wednesday. Some of the victims were shot execution style. Students were hiding behind desks, jumping out of windows to escape. A chemistry teacher, a lecturer, returned fire with a pistol against men armed with automatic weapons. According to witnesses, he allowed several students, time to escape before he was shot dead. The Taliban has claimed responsibility. It's believed to be payback for a recent crackdown by Pakistan's military against the Taliban. Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif promises a ruthless response. In the U.S., a history professor at Kent State University in Cleveland was arrested Tuesday by an FBI task force. He's suspected of contacting the Islamic State and recruiting students to fight for ISIS. An imam at a Salafist mosque in Cologne, Germany, where dozens of women were sexually assaulted New Year's Eve, said the victims were basically asking for it. In an interview with a Russian television channel, Imam Sami Abu Yusuf said the attacks were the girls' own fault because they were half naked and wearing perfume. And in the Palestinian territories, an official with the Fatah Party, the party of Prime Minister Mahmoud Abbas, praised Adolf Hitler in a television interview Saturday. Fatah Central Committee member Tawfiq Tirawi said that Hitler was not morally corrupt, he was daring. The host of the program wisely broke for a commercial at that point. And a 45-year-old secret deal between the PLO and the government of Switzerland has just come to light. A Swiss newspaper reporting that then Foreign Minister Pierre Graber offered to support the Palestinians diplomatically if they would promise not to attack Swiss businesses, Swiss targets. So much for neutrality. Full details of the deal will not be known until 2020. And while the world's elite meet at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, a prominent banker there says the world is on the verge of an epic wave of debt defaults. William White, who is the former chief economist for the Bank for International Settlements, says the situation is much worse today than it was in 2007. European banks admit that they're holding about $1 trillion worth of non-performing loans, and I've been telling you about the problems with American banks because of their oil loans. White says the only question is whether we can look reality in the eye and face the situation in an orderly fashion. He says debt jubilees have been going on for 5,000 years since the days of the Sumerians, but I wouldn't bet on banks looking to jubilees as an option. If there is any good news about the economy, it's that even the worst people on earth are being affected. The Islamic State recently announced to its soldiers that their pay would be cut effective immediately by 50%. This is apparently due, at least in part, to the recent heavy Russian bombing campaign against their black market oil convoys and the recent U.S. airstrike on the compound where ISIS stashed its cash. In that attack, literally millions of dollars went up in smoke. A proper understanding of prophecy is important to a proper understanding of Christian doctrine. Getting the basics of prophecy wrong can send you down some really bizarre paths as far as the faith is concerned. We talked about that this week with Joel Richardson, New York Times bestselling author of the book When a Jew Rules the World. Why is replacement theology important to understand? Why is it not biblical? And why is the Abrahamic covenant still important today? If you missed the conversation on the Christian Television Network Tuesday night, you can see it now on the SkyWatchTV channel on Roku. If you have a Roku box, haven't added us to your account yet, log on, search the channel store for the SkyWatchTV channel, and click the Add button. Or if you need specific instructions, log on to skywatchtv.com/Roku. Now, this coming Tuesday night, we begin the first of a pair of interviews with our favorite Bible scholar, Dr. Michael Heiser. We talk about God's supernatural task force, the divine counsel, and why understanding the divine counsel is important to understanding the entire narrative of the Bible. The program airs Tuesday night on the Christian Television Network. That's DirecTV Channel 376, Dish Network Channel 267, Glory Star Satellite Channel 117. Tuesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Skywatch TV, and Dr. Michael Heiser, author of The Unseen Realm. During the month of January, your donation of any amount gets this gift from Skywatch TV, a journal to chronicle your travels through the year 2016. and a wooden bookmark to track your daily devotions. That's our gift to you for your support in any amount during the month of January, and instructions on how to donate to SkyWatch TV are posted at skywatchtv.com. You have comments, questions, or suggestions for us, send those to me at dgilbert@skywatchtv.com. Tomorrow, back in studio, weather permitting, and we'll be talking about the U.S. military's desire for a chip, a brain-implanted chip that can transform brainwaves into binary code to connect the brain directly to computers. Tomorrow, Sci Friday with my best friend and the SkyWatch TV science editor Sharon K. Gilbert, and the newest member of the SkyWatch TV team, Josh Peck, author of Quantum Creation. That's tomorrow, Sci Friday on SkyWatch TV. Until then, thanks for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is SkyWatch TV.